you know, it was those first days. I remember the first time getting a call from somebody, a friend of mine who worked for the, my memory's not great, one of the Catholic organisations, and she said there's a busload coming in from Woomera tomorrow morning at 7:30. They're going to dump them in an empty childcare centre that's up the Northern Line. And she said, the council's scrambling together, we're all scrambling together, can you come out? And I said, sure. So there were cars, we drove out. We met those people, they were Iraqis, Iraqi mums and the kids mainly. There weren't too many men. And they were high on freedom, absolute high on freedom. They were so happy. And we had no food, of course. There was bloody immigration were there filling in forms, nobody knew what for. So one of the teenage girls, I said to her, would you come with me and we'll go down to Preston Market and buy some food. You can tell me the sort of things that people want to eat. So she came down with me in the car. She was just glorious, all bubbles and happy. Her mother had come with her 2 teenagers. The husband was in Abu Ghraib. He owned trucks and he was sending flour to the people starving in the south of Iraq. His trucks were pulled over and the drivers were shot and he was put into Abu Ghraib. He got here though. I went to a wedding out there on the Western Line and he was there. An amazing, beautiful man. Look, the people we've met, haven't we been privileged? You think of the courage of them coming across the ocean. There's people who come by boat, you know. I remember this woman said, this Iraqi woman, she said, you know, I wasn't always travelling in a crappy little boat. She had very good English. She said, you know, we lived in London and I've been to the Eiffel Tower and I've been to Italy and we travelled in planes. And here she was, escaping, for very good reasons, from Iraq. So they were the first people. And I think some of the people here will remember we had those weekly vigils out at Maribyrnong. Yeah? And every week there was a different church group. The Catholics, the Protestants, the Jews, the lefties, the righties, not too many righties. But anyway, there we all were. We used to go out and I remember when the police forces came out and chased us around the fences? I mean, sometimes when I look back, immigration had no bloody idea what they were doing. Mm-hmm. And actually, Sister Bridget and I were talking about this last week. It gave us, as activists, an opening that has subsequently closed. It's much harder now for the young ones. We knew the names of the decent immigration officers. I mean, they were all on that side of the fence and we were on the other side. We had no illusions about that. But there were people we could ring in an emergency. There were ways that we could get around things. And it was that, remember, who went out to Woomera, that first trip? Ah, yes, bus trip. Yeah. I mean, really and truly, and the harassment. And then the next year we went to, what's the one in New South? Baxter. Bloody Baxter. Oh, who was there? Come on, there must have been some of us here. It was terrible. They buzzed us for 48 hours with helicopters and lights and all the rest of it. And they made us walk 3 Ks. There was a guy, an old man who's come to an activist for years. And we walked 3 Ks and we got down the bottom and bastards, they had these horses lined up, white horses, I remember, it was bizarre. And they rode them in and knocked down all the tents. Just as people had got their tents and their stuff, they knocked it all down. And I remember there was a pipe running down the side of the road. So the tents were all on one side and we were on the other. And of course in those days, what did we do? We rang the media. And by that stage, they'd moved on from the thing, oh, we've got to have 2 views. We can't say anything until we've checked with the immigration department. They moved on from there. So when I said, right now, get down here. They've got horses, they're knocking over our tents, they're walking all over us. The media came on side at times, But boy, there was always the right-wing media to fight hard, and we've all had to fight hard. Look, no point me rabbiting on. It's lovely to see you, and it's lovely to see that the young people are still carrying it on. See, I'll be dead and gone, and quite a few of us in this room. We are not going to see the miracle that we fought 25 years for. We're not going to see it. But look, the young ones, they might see it. If you're lucky, you may be able to change the policy, because we had wins all along, but we never got the whole thing. We had, we thought, oh yes, well if Labor come in, they'll be better. Yes, you can see what's happening, and you look at the world. I mean, the things that our government did have now been taken into the rest of the world. They've got people, this talking about sending people to Rwanda, Albania, all the places where there are human rights have gone, and they just want to ship people out. It's just, it's devastating. And then of course, we look at Gaza, and we look at Sudan. One of the young guys, he was the first Darfurian, he was 18, and his father got him on a plane, God knows how, and got him out of Darfur when the Janjaweed militia were riding by, and they were, the houses have got thatched roofs, they were firebombing them, and when they came out of the houses, the Sudanese Antonov helicopters would fly over and shoot them down. And this boy's father, he had 3 sons, and he said to 2 of them, you've got to run all the way to Chad, don't stop, keep going. And he sent his wife and the younger one south, and the wife was killed. But the other 2 boys, my friend, he arrived here at 18, he was shipped out to Baxter. When they flew him from Sydney across the desert, he thought he was back, he thought, I'm going back to Sudan. All that red dirt, no trees. We got him out. Those were the miracle days, 2006. You could shame immigration and say, look, there's a genocide in Darfur. One 18-year-old has managed to get here, and you're going to lock him up in detention until he goes mad. And we got him out. He subsequently got a master's in business. He's been working for St Vincent's. I mean, these people have such resilience and such bravery, and we are so privileged to walk alongside them. But where do we go from here? We've got politicians on side, but they're the ones who've got no say in the cabinet. They've got no strength. And then we look what's happening in America. I mean, the worst of the worst, grabbing people off the street, throwing them in vans and shipping them out. Mind you, our mob did it, a small scale. Remember those guys who were picked up in Sydney? Over and over. I remember an Afghani guy rang me up and he said, we sleep in the park because we can't sleep in our flat because we know they're going to come for us. And so they would sleep in the park overnight. Sure enough, 5:30 in the morning, he rang and he said, they're over there. He said, but no one's there. The refugees themselves, they knew because of what they've been through back home. They knew how to get around things. They taught us some of the manoeuvres and what to do. Because, look at us. We've never suffered. So really, we learned a lot, but we could never fulfill the contract and the promise that we said, we will change this. Mind you, we're now getting phone calls, and dare say some of you are getting them too. People who've been here for 13 to 15 years are finally getting their families. It's a miracle. But what the miracle is that those men, and most of them were men, held on. They sent money home, they worked long shifts, they broke their bodies working in the meat works and the hard work in order to keep their families alive. And the reward is, eventually, they're starting to get, the families are coming. Mind you, there are people excluded. That's the fast-track people are getting the visas. But our girls from Somalia who got dumped on Nauru, 6-month bridging visas. And half the time the bridging visas are late, and now they've got a little trick up their sleeves. If you don't get if your bridging visa runs out, and so there's a 6 weeks lapse, say, before you get the next one, then you've been without a visa for 6 weeks, you've broken the law. And so you are not eligible for a permanent visa. There are all these nasty little tricks that have been introduced. And as for the organisation, who knows the name of the fellow who runs the detention centre out in out there in Broadmeadows? None of us know their names. No, they won't talk to us. We don't know who they are. They're all anonymous. And the guards who used to slip us notes of paper and say so-and-so's going to be shipped out on Wednesday, you better do something, get a lawyer, and give you the name, the date of birth and the number, and shove it in your pocket as you go out through the visit centre. Those days are gone. The good ones left, and the others accommodated themselves to Border Force and the way it's run. It's like a prison, as you know. So there's the good and there's the bad, but you know, we mustn't let people forget this. We mustn't let them forget, because it's the only way that the young can carry the fight. They have to know the stories. They have to. We need to save all this. I had some banners that I had for about 7 years, and I've given them to someone. I don't know who. They were, you know, the Tamil guys went on hunger strike, and they slept out. One of the Iranian guys painted banners. They were pretty graphic, I can tell you. And they were, we held those up over the, what's that name of that road that runs down the detention centre out there in Broadmeadows? Camp Road. How could I forget? Bloody hell, I know every inch of it. And we put them up. And you know, these are things that we must hold on to. There's so many, and a lot of us have got things tucked away. Documents, bits and pieces. I believe Melbourne University have got an archive that will store. There's also the university up there in Queensland. They've got an archive. So if you've got things that you feel are not going to harm people, you see, the thing for us is we have to protect those people. We can't post their names and numbers and things. And God knows I've got boxes and boxes of files, but you can. But they will store them, and you can prescribe the conditions under which you put them in, when they can be released, if names can be released, all that sort of thing. It's a fight that we've all got to keep at. Some of us are getting a bit old and decrepit, like me, but you know, the young ones will carry it on, and we need to tell them what happened, because what you're seeing today is very different from what we saw 25 years ago. It's not. It's got worse because it's so highly organised. It's so methodically cruel and streamlined, you know. And of course, we don't have the contacts that we used to have. Hardly anybody visits Broadmeadows now. Sister Bridget goes out there and she says it's dreadful, horrible. Well, we used to be able to go with cakes and tea and, you know, give them some space to be normal. Bridget and I used to be able to take people out. Can you imagine a carload of 5 Iranian men telling me they wanted perfume? I went up and down Sydney Road. My brothers are very Australian. They didn't know what perfume was. And I thought, oh no, they mean deodorant. So I took them down the deodorant aisles. No, we want perfume. Yeah. And then the chemist woman said, I know what they want. And down the back she had this glass cabinet. There was such a thing as male perfume. See, Australians were a very unsophisticated lot. Oh, they had heaven. But you know, you learn things, you learn to laugh too. You learn to laugh and you learn to cry. I mean, there were 2 men who died. One on a month and one was silent. all of us have known people who didn't survive detention, and we carry their dates with a heavy heart. We don't forget. But yeah, I just think good on you for having this exhibition. Keep posting things, planting them, using the internet, using whatever you can to remind people where we came from, where we are today, and it's not over. Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much. I could listen to your stories all day. Pamela, thank you so much. And I think, yeah, just having that reminder that we have to carry on the fight. And I think you're right, Pamela. Unfortunately, there's still a fight to have. We heard that Pauline Hanson's actually speaking at a racist rally tomorrow at Parliament. And we saw what she did in Parliament wearing the burqa, absolutely disgraceful. And I think it's no coincidence that you're saying, you know, how things are getting worse for refugees as racism is also getting worse. And I think the government's policy is validating the ideas of the right. So I think, yeah, I'll be at the council rally tomorrow, and I hope to see you all there. We'll have our RAC banner, which I think sends a really important message that it's not, obviously we have to be out opposing racists when they march on the streets, but we also have to challenge these racist policies. We have to organise around this. And we've seen the unions can fight over this. They've done this in the past. We've seen the walkouts with teachers for refugees in the past. This is all the kind of stuff that we have to, you know, get back again, get the confidence up again around this. And I think if we've done it before, we can definitely do it again. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone. And I think, you know, on that note, RAC still meets every week at 6:30. Sorry, at 6:30 on Monday at Kathleen Syme. So please feel free to come along and be part of that. We really just want to build as much pressure as we can. We're still organising. We've got a speak out on the 10th of December on Human Rights Day around the deportation laws and around it's basically just saying it's inhumane, these policies. There's a sign over there. 5:30 at State Library. No, sorry, the corner of Burke and Swanston Street. We're normally at State Library. Yeah, tomorrow we'll be at 11:30 at the State Library. So if you see the RAC banner, come and join us and be part of that. But yeah, we have all of this is paid for. Volunteers did all of this, and all this is paid for by RAC. So if you do want to donate, there's a donate QR code here, and you can also, feel free to put your name down on our contact list. We have a newsletter. You can figure out how to, find out how to be involved with us, and chat to anyone in the RAC shirt as well. But yeah, thank you all, and I hope you enjoy the exhibition.